Wait, what you doing in here? This here is my personal private space. Hey, welcome along to Adrianjayeonline, wubba wubba wubba. Thanks a lot for joining me here in my washroom. Well, you can say washroom, bathroom, toilet, WC, whatever. So I've got a little bit of a tutorial for you on the toilet. So don't go away, come back when I've finished, okay? I want to talk to you a little bit about this toilet and toilet problems that you're more likely to have, and how to basically fix them. So people basically do the wrong thing when it comes to cleaning toilets, and I've done a lot of research and found a lot of things. So this toilet is already cleaned. This toilet is already cleaned, so the issue is not here. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the problem which some of you or many of you may have, and that is when you open a washroom toilet, wow, inside here you sometimes see a black ring, and sometimes you get marks around there, and it's very, very hard to get out. And I'm going to discuss with you a little bit about what it is, how to rectify it, what to do and what not to do. Okay, so let's get a couple of myths out of the way. Now, first of all, when you clean your washroom, your toilet, you can use a lot of things on the outside. Say, for example, you've got your Clorox bleach, you have your Clorox wipes, wet wipes, that kind of stuff, and that's good to clean all around the outside, you know, around at the bottom bits, around the sides, and around here, and in here. Now, we have our trusty toilet brush, which obviously we know why we use a toilet brush is to clean anything that's inside there. Now, this is porcelain or china, or not china, porcelain or porcelain type tile material, and it's very, very smooth. Now, what people make a mistake of doing is when they see that this area is dirty and they get the ring around there, what they tend to do is they give it a good scrub and it goes, or sometimes if they're total absolute pigs and they don't clean them for a while, it kind of stays in there. And now what happens also, and people I've seen advice on the on YouTube, is that you get a build-up of calcium from hard water, and what happens, it attracts dirt and it stays on there. So what they say is, well, what you should do is you get a scouring pad or a pumice stone or sandpaper and gently sand it down. Let me tell you something, do not, whatever you do in your lifetime, put anything rough in this area, okay? Because what happens is, if you scratch this, and you will do if you use pumice stone or any other kind of rough material, is you will cause things to stick in there. So say, for example, and this is like an analogy, things generally which are smooth stop other things sticking on there. So for example, in the toilet, in this porcelain bit, because it's smooth, whatever matter gets stuck onto the bowl will not stick on the bowl because it's slippery, and it will basically slide down. If it doesn't slide down, when the water goes down, the water takes it down with it. If it is rough, it will stick in there, even though you clean it, small particles will be stuck in there. So if you've done that, you've trashed your toilet. Do not, as Sarah repeat, do not use any kind of pumice stone or sandpaper or anything. You do not need to, okay? The only thing you need to do, and I don't have one up here, is a sponge to clean it, or a wet wipe, or get a roll of toilet paper, bulb it up, and then put some clean around it and clean. That's all you need to do. If you do anything else, you're messed up. Now, the dreaded black ring. Now, what is it? Well, there's a lot of goopy stories going out there, and it really does depend on sometimes on the water hardness. Sometimes they say it's because of water hardness, but when calcium builds up in the toilet bowl, which it can do from hard water, It generally, if you're using a washroom pretty much every day, it can't build up, because what happens is it gets washed away. It has no place for it to build up on this area here. Anything that's on this line, because you're continually flushing it, it can't build up, okay? If you don't use your washroom for say 2, 3, 4 weeks, or if it's a spare one, it's not used for months, then yes, maybe. But even then, because this area is so soft and smooth, so not soft, it's so smooth, if you just wipe it, it will come off. It cannot build up a calcium crap in there. Now, there was also a little rumour going around, and I kind of fell into this, that some people who, say for example, suffer from diabetes, have said and noticed that, well, you know, I get this black ring and I think it's due to the fact that when I go to the washroom, because there's excess sugar in my system, when it goes into the toilet, it breeds germs, and that's where you get that. Well, that's actually not right. Even if you dump a whole load of microbes in there, the water flushes everything out. So it's not that. So what is it? The black ring. The black ring of death is actually called, well, there's a couple of terms for it, but I'll give it the most commonly known term, toilet mould. Yes, it's a mould. It's a kind of a fungus. So I'm going to tell you a very brief thing on mould. So generally speaking, mould only grows where you have conditions which are damp, dark, generally speaking, and with little with chance to condensate. So here's a very, very quick trick which will help you eliminate the condensation. Now, this kind of goes against what we're normally taught. Now, boys, you know that you're not supposed to keep the toilet lid up. You're supposed to keep it down. For the ladies, well, let me tell you this. Water evaporates, okay? Now, there is a small gap here. This is what happens when you close the lid. The water evaporates. It's got nowhere to go. It condenses. So it basically condenses, okay? That gives the mold and other things in there a chance to breathe. So a good trick to reduce any kind of mold is to keep obviously this bottom lid down and keep this up. I tend to close this overnight, but keep it up during the day. So the ladies can sit down, and another reason why we have this closed is because if you go to the washroom, you don't clean the washroom, what do you see? All that nasty crap in there. But if your washroom is clean, it doesn't matter, right? So you have a clean bowl and everything else. So that's one thing. So where is this mold coming from? So for that, we need to know really how the toilet works. Now, I'm just kind of running this through. You may already know this, but let's give you a little brief tutorial. So let's just lower this down. So we have several components for the toilet. We have obviously the basin, the cistern, and you have somewhere of water coming in. So this is how a toilet basically works. I'll show you the internals, but let's go from here initially. Now, this is the inlet where the water comes in. The water comes in, you've got a stopcock there. So here's a little trick. If you have a problem with your toilet and you need to work on it, turn it off. Okay, turn it off from there. So in this position, water comes up and it fills up in here, and it's stored for when it's needed. You then press the button, the water from the cistern gets pushed out into there, like so. So if I press that down, woohoo! Did I need to demonstrate how the toilet works? No, but hey, just for simplicity. Now, if you hear that sound, listen to that sound. What's happening is the water is now filling up. When it's got to its proper level, it will stop. Okay? Now, there is a set of stuff in there which stops when the water's filling up, the water from coming out of the cistern into here. So what happens is a stopcock opens up, the water flushes out, and as the water's filling down, that jump closes back up, stops any further water going down, and it fills up. Okay, so that is basically how it works. Now, why do we have water in here? This is another little thing which you may find interesting. Now, there are 3 types of toilets that I have come across. Now, if you live in the UK, right, I don't have a... Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Gonna get a toothbrush. I have a whole bang. If you have toothbrushes, you're supposed to change your toothbrush every 3 months. Don't throw them away. I store a whole load of toothbrushes in there, so if I need to clean anything, for example clean these bits here, I've got a toothbrush. So I'm going to show you. Now, if you live in the UK, the water level in a toilet bowl in the UK only comes up to this level here, okay? In Canada, it seems to come up to about this level. If you're in the US, this whole bowl is full of water, okay? Comes up to about here. Now, whether it's full, and the idea why they have a full bowl of water is when you do your business, the business is going into the water, okay? As opposed to sticking onto here, okay? So it's easier to clean, essentially, okay? So that's why. So this is quite a good compromise. I mean, in the UK, I'm kind of used to the water level being there, but it also saves a lot of water, because if you think about it, you've got a big flush area, you're going to be throwing away a lot of water. So let's to the side. Now, where there's damp, you have problems, or potentially have problems, with all kinds of things. So for example, standing water is not a good idea because of mosquitoes and other little pesky little bugs which like standing water. Running water is different, but standing water is different. Now, I'm going to open up and show you what is in here. You may already know, you may not, I don't know. Oh, and a little trick. When you take this, ever take this off, this is quite heavy. It's made of porcelain or some kind of cheap crap. It's probably not porcelain, but do not stand it up. I've done this before. I've stood it up, it slipped, and it will crack and break. And then you are in for a world of poo. Now, let's have a look at the internals of this toilet to kind of get an explanation as to what goes on in here. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the water off. Okay, I'm now going to empty the toilet. Now, this is what happens. When you push that button down, it pulls this lever. This lever is fitted to this, which is basically where the water goes down. Okay, the water comes up from this pipe into this apparatus, okay? The water then comes through here into there, which then fills up this. This is a float. So what happens is, and you'll see when we flush, the float will go all the way down. When the water starts to fill up, the water will come up, it will close this, which shuts off the water. So let's do that. So hit that. Can you see there? The water's going down that little thingy bob. Done. Okay, now I've shut the water off, so no water is coming in, because I kind of want to show you some stuff. So you can see the float, and the float comes up and down. Now, what happens is when that float comes up, can you see this mechanism here? It stops the water. So when the water is coming up, but when the water's full, it stops. So you can actually adjust how much water. You can either have a little bit of water or a lot of water. If you're trying to save water, you can set this so it's on a lower down, so it's not filled up. Now, you may be able to, I don't know if you look at your toilet, you probably won't see it in such a good shape. I regularly clean the inside of the toilet. Now, here's a couple of what not to do, and I'll explain a little bit later why not to do. If you see in the shop, sometimes you get these, I don't know what they're called officially, you call them a toilet cake, I think. They're kind of like round, they're blue, you pop them in, you're supposed to pop them in there somewhere, and it dissolves, it makes the water blue, and every time it flushes, it cleans your toilet. Do not put anything in here. Now, if you clean your toilet the way I'm going to show you, and then regularly, you do not need to put anything in here. Don't, and I'll tell you why later, okay? What you can do is you can put any kind of liquid cleaner, okay? So that's absolutely fine. So for example, this toilet duct, this is Clorox, I tend to use Clorox. You can liberally put that in there, but it will only be for one flush, and I'll show you why again later. Okay, now, the reason being, you don't want to put anything in here. Okay, if I lift this up, I'm going to try and, I'm doing kind of one-handed. Can you see how this comes up? Okay, goes down. When it's down, there's the water's there. When it comes up, it drops the water into there. What happens in there, and I can't take this out because I've bust this, it's stuck on there. So what happens is, if you put a toilet cake or anything in here, it gets stuck in there, okay? Some stuff may go down, but most of it gets stuck. Also, it won't close properly. If that happens, you then have a constant running toilet, okay? Now, I'm going to show you now what happens when we turn the water on. Can you see the water's filling up? Now, can you see? I've lifted this up, it's stopped the water, watch. I'm going to lift it up. Can you see? The water comes up through here and into there, okay? So sometimes you may have a problem where it's not filling up or filling up too much. Try, if you turn this, it adjusts the length here and there, okay? And then you kind of can work out the best way to have it set. Now, the best way to clean this is do this. If it's the first time you're using a toilet in a brand new house or an old house, basically switch it off, unscrew this, basically get as much of this crap out of here and go to town. Either get some Clorox. Another thing you can actually use, which is very, very good, is borax, sodium tetraborate. And it is really, really good. It's a natural deodorizer and it cleans. So what you can do, it's a powder. You can sprinkle it in there, and I'm going to give you a little demonstration because none of this stuff is going to hurt, okay? So you can pour all over there, or even get a little bit of this. And you can either just leave it like that, or if you have a brush or toothbrush, you just, oh, don't you give this toothbrush back to your daughter. Wife, yes, daughter, no. That would be a bad day. Actually, except for the chemicals I've just put in, this is actually clean. If you ever see dogs, they drink from the toilet bowl, which is there. As long as the toilet is actually clean, it's not really an issue. Now, what you do is you get a cloth. Now, this again is, it doesn't matter if you use those Mr. Magic erasers or pumice stone, that's okay, but generally you don't need to. Use a good cleaner and you can clean it. So a toothbrush, get rid of all the black stuff. You may see black stuff. Now the reason you may see black stuff is, and if I'm going to close the toilet thingy again, if you ever see black marks in your toilet, can you see under that red, underneath that red, there's a kind of black? So there's a black rubber that's under there. And sometimes when that wears out, or if you use the wrong chemicals in there, basically what happens is it deteriorates and it comes off and it clears, it's this stuff black. The best thing to clean a toilet bowl, is this stuff, vinegar. Now this vinegar is not vinegar, so you can't go putting this on your fries. It's actually extra strong vinegar cleaner. Water goes down there. Now how does it magically get from there into here? Well ladies and gentlemen, mums and dads, boys and girls, this area here, underneath here, is hollow. Underneath here are jets. I don't think I can show you, and I don't want to put my camera in the toilet in case it falls in. Water comes around here, sprays through small jets, and it comes out. The jets are small. if you put those toilet cakes in here, it blocks these up. That's probably more the reason why you're getting that black ring, because what's happening is under here there is a place, it's dark, it's moist, the water doesn't always come out of there. It doesn't always come out of there, and it kind of gets blocked up. So the problem is, if you clean this and you clean that, you're not solving the problem. You have to clean under here. Now this is how you fix it. I've taken a long time getting there. Now, you get half a cup of vinegar and you pour it into there, okay? Then pour half a cup of vinegar into the water. Pour half a cup of vinegar into that brush, and if you've got a cloth, you can do underneath there and just leave it. Then what you're going to see me doing is lifting this up very slowly, because what happens, it's just going to allow a little bit of the liquid to go around there. The vinegar is going to kill the mold. You can use bleach, but I've found that vinegar is the best. So I'm going to show you now how to do it. It's concentrated and it stinks like nobody's business. So what you need to do is really have a fan. But if I put a fan on, you're not going to hear me. Do not drink this. It's acetic acid. So here we go. Just pour. That's all in there. Now, in there is already some vinegar, so I'm not going to do that one. Let's get another cup of vinegar. Pour it into there. Now, I've already put vinegar in this area, so I'm not going to bother. So, again, swirl it around. Get it on the brush, get right up into there. You're not cleaning, really. I mean, not scrubbing, just swirl it around. Because this is just going to clean the toilet bowl. It's not going to kill the fungus or mold, whatever you like to call it, under there. Okay? Now, you may see black spots come in, but because I've already cleaned my toilet, that's not going to happen. Now, I'm going to just lift this up. Just get a bit of water into there. Just a little bit of water, okay? Then lift this up a little bit. Can you hear that? Can you see that? And if you can see, that vinegar solution has got around there. I'm going to open up a bit more. Give it a little bit more water. You don't want a full flush, you just want it to fill up there. Now once you've done that, leave it as long as you can. Certainly a minimum of an hour. 8 hours, certainly what I tend to do if I'm going to do this, I'll do it overnight. And then once that's done, fill your toilet up. And by the way, using acetic acid in there will clean this. The only thing that you will have a problem is that this may rust. You can get plastic ones for that, but to be honest, I've never had a problem. Metal acid will eat metal, but this is a very mild acid. And I just want to show you, there's another vinegar one here. This one is called Simply Clean Vinegar Plus. And this one that I used, and I got this from a health food shop. This is Eco Pioneer Vinegar Cleaner. You can use this on any kind of surfaces, you know, baths or whatever, and it's perfectly safe. It will stink, and if you're in a closed area, don't use it or try not to use it, because what will happen is, I mean, you won't get overcome with fumes, but it won't be a good day. Don't mix this with this, because it will give off chlorine gas. So if you're using vinegar, use vinegar. So what I tend to do with this, I'll put some vinegar into there, half a cup, just so that it's there. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to let that fill, and then once that's filled up, we'll flush. So yeah, so that's it. So I hope you found my information on your cleaning your toilet, maintaining it useful. Sorry for the handshake. I don't have my my camera stand with me, but yeah, take it easy.